This is CNN.
We just have to take it in our stride. There is nothing we can do. And when the hurricane hits, we just have to be ready.
All of South Florida lies in wait for the most powerful hurricane to come that way in decades.
Dozens of inland shelters in the Sunshine State take in some of the 1 million people ordered to flee Andrew's force.
This is Prime News Sunday on CNN with Andrea Arsenault at CNN Center in Atlanta and David French in Washington.
Thanks for joining us. A state of emergency is gripping South Florida as Hurricane Andrew approaches. It's expected to be the worst storm to hit that area in decades. People are boarding up windows and storing their belongings for maximum safety along Florida's coastal areas. More than 1 million people living along the coasts have been told to evacuate. Many are in shelters. Time to evacuate is running short as stormy weather is due after midnight, with the eye of the storm expected to hit about daybreak.
For a look at what it's like in Miami, CNN's John Zarella joins us. He's been outside throughout the afternoon. John, what are you experiencing right now?
Well, Andrea, about half an hour or so ago, one of the squall lines, the first of the squall lines actually moved through here. It's gone now. We're in one of those periods of complete calm. An airplane, as a matter of fact, flying overhead. There's lightning in the distance and some thunderstorms indicative of the very early period of a hurricane. If you couldn't continue to board up, and if you just ran out of time or ran out of lumber, you were really advised to just get out. Many people began to take that advice. They went to shelters, but many of those shelters were completely full. It was very difficult and getting more difficult now. The roads are quiet here. People that did leave have probably already left and gone. It'll be too late before midnight arrives for them to get out. And some people were willing to leave, but others weren't.
Get ready, go, evacuate, go. How about the people that don't have a car, that are old and sick? What can they do?
You want to stay here? No.
This was terribly organized this time. The county, the city, the whole business was very bad. That's my opinion.
I'm taking a taxi and I'm going away.
Few of us intend to stay down here away from the windows, just stay away and all be together. And I think that's a good idea. We'll all stay together and...
Not afraid. Somebody up there is watching over me.
Well, we certainly hope that someone is watching over just about everyone, especially the people that were on South Miami Beach surfing. One of the members of the beach patrol literally had to go in the water and pull this guy out of the water and take his surfboard away from him. Later, the guy said that he didn't care. He'd be back once the beach patrol wrapped up and once the police left. He would be back along with his friends to continue surfing before it got too badly. The situation again here, continuing to just wait for the onslaught of Hurricane Andrew. We now go for more to Brian Cabell.
The world-famed pool at the Fontainebleau Hilton in Miami Beach had a distinctively eerie look as Andrew approached. No tourists, lounges purposely submerged. Up and down the beach, the mandatory evacuation was in effect. At Ely's and Ailey's discount store, the owners weren't confident that much would be left in the morning.
Not much. The water's going to be about 12 feet high. The water's going to be up to here.
Down the street, workers were securing the France Bijou clothing store, but observed that not everybody was taking Andrew seriously.
Not yet. But after this one, the new generation, like them, they will learn.
Residents were learning that gas and other goods were in short supply. The entire Casanova family, babies on up, were ready to move inland.
We were thinking about staying until noon. And then pressure from relatives, the TV, the radio, say, well, this is pretty serious, so...
Get out of town.
Get out of town.
Karen Leonard wasn't quite ready to leave. She wanted a last look at the beach, the blue-green water, the swaying palms.
Been through hurricanes before, so I'm not in shock because of it, but I mean, I know it's going to get bad, but right now it's kind of hard to believe.
Kind of hard to believe, and yet apparently inevitable.
As is so often the case, the cliche fits. This is the calm before the storm. But take a look behind me. If the forecasters are right, this will look radically different on Monday morning. Brian Cabell, CNN, Miami Beach.
In the distance to the south of me, thunderstorms, lightning flashing over downtown Miami. It appears that another squall line may be about to move in over here. The wind is picking up just a little bit, but as Brian Cabell said in that report, this is indeed the calm before the storm. The worst of it we expect to begin hitting after midnight. I just heard a late report from the National Hurricane Center, and they do expect that the center of the storm, will pass over this area sometime around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're looking at maybe 10, 12, 16 hours, and much of that could probably be considered pure hell. This is John Zarella reporting live from North Miami Beach.
For more on the advancing hurricane, we go to CNN's Pat Neal, standing by in the National Hurricane Center in Coral Gables, Florida. Pat.
Behind me, you see radar experts plotting the positions of the center of the storm here in Coral Gables. There are meteorologists, hurricane specialists, all busy here at the National Hurricane Center. They're surveying some of the information, the wind information from reconnaissance planes that have actually flown through the eye of the hurricane. As I said, this center is in Coral Gables, Florida, which is just south of Miami, and it is in the predicted path of the storm. And keep in mind, it's been almost 30 years since the South Florida area has been hit by a storm, so this is they're taking this with a particular caution here. And as a precaution, 1/3 of the hurricane specialists have been sent from this center to Washington, D.C. in case all communication is lost here. Now, for the latest on Andrew, here's the Hurricane Center Director, Dr. Bob Sheets.
Good evening. Hurricane Andrew continues on its path towards the southeast Florida coast at this hour. The center of the hurricane is expected to cross the Dade-Broward area sometime between 6 and 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Winds are now about 145 miles per hour and expected to maintain near that strength as it crosses the coast. I'm Bob Sheets from the National Hurricane Center in Coral Gables, Florida.
Presently, the storm is about 185 miles east of Miami, and it is expected to hit the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area, which is the most populated area in all of southeast Florida. It is expected to cut a swath of about 40 to 50 miles. Now, this is not as strong so far as Camille or Gilbert or the 1935 hurricane that devastated the Florida Keys. But warnings have been posted on the west coast of Florida, and they expect as the storm passes the Gulf of Mexico, it will probably strengthen, and it's expected to threaten the north coast of the northern Gulf Coast in 2 to 3 days. Pat Neal, CNN, reporting live from the National Hurricane Center in Coral Gables, Florida.
Thank you, Pat. CNN meteorologist Ted Texter has been following Hurricane Andrew's progress, and he's here now with an update. Ted?
Andrea, it's so ominous to know that the storm is bearing down on the coast there, and yet there's not a thing you can do about it but get out of its path. These are the watch and warning areas you can see hatched from about Bayport on further south to Venice on the west coast down to Key West. The warnings kick in then, and also included in that Lake Okeechobee. The shallow waters there are likely very much affected by the approach of the storm. On the east coast, it is looking like we're going to see now the approach of the storm. It now centered, as just mentioned, about 185 miles to the east as it does move on shore. Already one band on shore. We're going to experience quite a lot of heavy rain, wind, and likely heavy thunderstorms, perhaps tornadoes with it, and the storms surge. 5:01 tomorrow morning in the bay at Miami is when we expect normal astronomical high tide. Just about that time as well, the surge will be coming on, so there will be a compounding problem there. The storm is making very quick progress, moving to the east now, or rather to the west at 16 miles an hour. It's been keeping up that clip. As Dr. Sheets mentioned, it's down now to about 145 miles an hour, but we have been cautioned that the speed will vacillate up and down just a little bit as it makes its way towards the coast. It is beginning also to show up on radar now across the Bahamas. Radar returns coming in to the approach of the storm, and bands of rain that are so characteristic of hurricanes beginning to move on shore already. It looks as if that storm will then pass over the southernmost tip of the peninsula of Florida and then get into the Gulf of Mexico. And as I say, have said so many times, all bets are off then. So far, we're watching out on the west coast of the peninsula for the probability of the return trouble that storm will likely cause. As we move just a little bit further into the future, let me show you what's going to happen around the rest of the country. The storm likely by tomorrow afternoon into evening time will be into the Gulf of Mexico. In the east, mostly clear and sunny. It should be a beautiful day through the day tomorrow. Back for the west, Hurricane Lester now a tropical storm, moving more moisture into the southwest and storms there. We'll have another update for you in just a little bit. Now more news with David.
Thanks, Ted. Our coverage of Hurricane Andrew continues on Prime News. Florida Governor Lawton Chiles declares the Miami area under a state of emergency. And we plan a live report from the Bahamas, where Andrew already has hit.
If you're tired of hunting for your vacuum cleaner's attachments, get the new Dirt Devil Upright. It's lightweight, easy to use, and all the attachments are built right into the vacuum, so you can clean everything from floor to ceiling and edge to edge without stopping to find a thing. And because it's a Dirt Devil, it's packed with plenty of cleaning power. So stop hunting for your attachments. Get the new Dirt Devil Upright, the all-in-one cleaner that cleans it all.
Polyshades by Minwax. It's a stroke of genius. Polyshades is rich stain and polyurethane protection in one. Polyshades gives wood a beautiful protective finish in half the time. Polyshades by Minwax.
To take personal advantage of undiscovered profit opportunities, call this number now and get free the next 4 issues of the Kiplinger Washington Letter. Kiplinger's weekly report that answers the gut questions that directly affect you, your business, your investments, taxes, your career. Kiplinger goes beyond the news of the day and delivers reliable forecasts that you can act on in business. Call today and receive as a bonus Investments for Today and Tomorrow, this timely 48-page guide packed with profit-making insights. There's no risk, no obligation. Be a Kiplinger Washington insider. Don't get caught short. Call 1-800-453-9509. We'll bill you later for the year's subscription. If not satisfied, return the bill marked canceled and you owe nothing. You keep the issues and the bonus gift free. Call 1-800-453-9509. That's 1-800-453-9509.
Politicians use stars for raising money and building crowds. What do stars get from politicians? A powerful audience for their causes. CNN's special assignment team takes an inside look at Hollywood and politics. Tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
Florida officials are getting ready for Hurricane Andrew. At the State Emergency Center in Tallahassee, workers fielded scores of calls today from residents wanting to know what they should do. The state's National Guard is on alert. Governor Lawton Chiles has declared a state of emergency, ordering more than 1 million people evacuated from coastal areas in Broward, Dade, and Monroe counties. Chiles warned residents to take no chances.
This is a very deadly storm. We think it is the most severe storm that will hit Florida since 1935. We know that there will be untold property damages. We can do something about not having loss of life if you will follow the instructions in your local area. These plans have been years in the making to try to predict what will be the dangerous areas. With this kind of storm, you can say any plan you had, you need to follow it to the letter. And so people that care about their safety, care about their loved ones, should be taking every precaution to get out of these areas.
For people in the hurricane's path, here are some safety rules. Leave low-lying areas and mobile homes, board up windows, store drinking water, and keep your car's gas tank filled. Evacuate when ordered by officials and check batteries in case power is lost.
Well, as Floridians brace for this coming storm, they need only look eastward for a taste of things to come. Hurricane Andrew already is pounding the Bahamas with winds of about 150 miles an hour with heavy rain, surging tides. There also are unconfirmed reports of 4 deaths. Joining us now to update us on the condition in the Bahamas, Ann Bartlett of the Miami Herald. And we have a good line to you. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine, but the situation is getting progressively worse here in Nassau, the capital of the Bahamas, where I am. Until just a minute ago, the building I was in had completely lost power, and that's true in many places here in Nassau. Losing a lot of power with downed power lines, branches downed, trees across the road. The roads are starting to flood, although they're not really impassable at the moment. The situation is definitely deteriorating here.
Major building codes anticipate hurricanes in that region, or do you expect that a lot of housing will be destroyed?
Well, it's very difficult to say. There's certainly a number of large high-rise hotels on the beach, which I wonder about. They had not boarded up their windows, for example, this afternoon before the storm. And if I were a person in one of those hotels, I would be concerned about how they would fare during the storm.
Miss Bartlett, what is your exact situation? How safe are you? Where are you?
Oh, well, I'm in quite a safe building, but it's a situation where it would be very foolish for anybody to go outside unless it were some kind of emergency situation. Just very, very heavy winds at this point, very heavy rain, and we are told this is only the beginning of the situation. I gather that the hurricane is going to last here for about another 4 hours, and this is just the beginning.
And if you could stay with us, we have Debbie Bartlett on the phone from Aruba, Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera rather, the other small island in the Bahamas. And Debbie, what can you tell us? We understand the storm hit there harder.
Yes, of course, Governor's Harbor is the north of Eleuthera, and while the winds are still pretty much high, it is not as bad as it was earlier today, about 2 o'clock. The winds at 2 o'clock, some residents estimate that they must have packed up to about 100 miles per hour to 150. Evidence of that is very apparent. As you've got the rooftops of the businesses. The streets are flooded with water. As a matter of fact, we had to wade through the water, and we are on top of the hill at our Bahamas telecommunications station here in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. Throughout the day and early the day, of course, there were power outages. The Bahamas Electricity Corporation worked very vigorously and tried to keep the power on as much as possible, but of course there were power outages quite frequently, and now most of the island is still in the black. We understand that in an island just off Governor's Harbor that is called Cubit's Key, there was some really tremendous damage. For example, one roof is flown off a wash house, and the house belonging to one of the residents there is completely damaged. A tree has fallen on a home in the house, on another house there, and of course some of the public buildings have also experienced tremendous damage. Again, roofs coming off. One of the other things that we may want to note here in Governor's Harbor, a lot of the homes are under water. It's interesting to see the residents here are wading in the water above knee level. Some have even resorted to getting a motorboat and trying to make their way in the boat. Every road that you turn, the roads are carpeted with trees, is very hazardous, but the residents here, now that the winds are high but controllable and not really causing debris to fly, have come out in the dark to see the damage that Andrew has done. Basically, we made our way up to Governor's Harbor, you may want to know, from Rocksound, which is the southern area of Eleuthera, and I must say that the damage in Rocksound and the central Eleuthera there is no comparison. While there was a lot of debris that may have smashed into different buildings, the damage in Governor's Harbor is pretty bad.
All right, we want to thank you very much, Debbie Bartlett, for that very complete report from Eleuthera in Governor's Harbor on the north end of that island. It certainly sounds like a very frightening situation with a lot of damage. She reported that many homes were blacked out. In fact, much of the island is blacked out. There was a roof off on what I believe she called Cuba's Key. A tree fell on another home, and many homes are under water. And Ann Bartlett from Nassau in the Bahamas already is off the phone with us. We thank her. No relation, Debbie Bartlett. We we thank you. We'll be back with more after this.
I love being naughty, especially when I can get away with it. Like with Briar's Light. Less fat so I can indulge in sinful fudge. Real vanilla. Pure, true taste. I feel like I'm cheating. But I'm not. What a shame.
All natural Briar's Light frozen dessert. So real, you can taste it.
On Norwegian Cruise Line, you're in for more incredible days, unbelievable nights, and unforgettable places than you ever dreamed possible. And now we're the official cruise line of Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Studios Florida, where you meet the stars and ride the movies. Feel the heat of Backdraft live in Hollywood and go back to the future in Florida. So set sail on Norwegian Cruise Line, then take off for places like nowhere else on Earth.
Here's an opportunity to receive a free copy of William F. Buckley's controversial essay, In Search of Anti-Semitism.
Hi, I'm Charlton Heston. I want to share something with you that's very important and especially enjoyable to me. Every other week, I get a magazine that gives me insights into current events and revelations about important issues I never get from other magazines, certainly not from TV or radio. It's Bill Buckley's National Review.
My purpose in founding National Review was to provide an alternative to the single viewpoint commentary and news reporting that still afflict the media.
When you get National Review, you'll find it's informative, probing, challenging, and very entertaining. Call this toll-free number. We'll start your introductory subscription right now. Run through a few issues. If you don't like it, don't renew. It's not on many newsstands, so this may be your only chance to get a trial subscription.
Call this toll-free number now and we'll send you free William F. Buckley's essay, In Search of Anti-Semitism. For a trial subscription to National Review, call 1-800-366-8282.
Ted Texter has been tracking the progress of Hurricane Andrew throughout the early afternoon and evening. He joins us now with an update. Ted?
Andrea, indeed, these areas are, of course, under watch or warning, both hurricane and tropical storm, about the southern two-thirds of the peninsula of Florida. We want to go now to Coral Gables, Florida, where we're joined by Dr. Bob Sheets, who is the director of the National Hurricane Center there. And Dr. Sheets, thank you for taking the time with us again. I know you're a very busy man tonight. Now, you, in addition to being quite an expert in weather, are also, or have become quite an expert in evacuation paths in the major population centers, also in architecture. One of the plans, I know, is to evacuate up. You're about to take a hit from a very strong, a direct hit from a very strong hurricane. Is up an alternative in this case in Miami Beach?
Well, we talk about what we call last resort refuge, not really evacuation, vertical evacuation, but last resort refuge in situations where you get trapped. And so if you do get trapped on the Florida Keys, Barrier Islands, then you take refuge above the storm surge level and in the interior rooms, maybe the second floor.
Now, I know for the past some years you've been the director there. You perhaps have been called Chicken Little at times because you've been saying, and your colleagues have been saying, that the big one's coming, the big one's coming. And indeed, here it is tonight. We are waiting on it. We're already seeing some effects of it. Is the area prepared? Is the United States prepared? The Southeast Coast prepared for this?
Well, I think we're certainly much better prepared than we were a decade ago. Neil Frank started a lot of this several years ago. I've continued that, and had it not been for those actions, we would not have been prepared for this. Are we totally prepared for a hurricane like that? No way. I don't think anybody can prepare for a major hurricane, Category 4, Category 5.
It's been a couple of years since I've been there, but as I recall, you're on the 6th or 7th floor. You're the only floor on that building that has hurricane storm shelters on your, or storm flaps on your windows. Have many more been constructed lately?
No, we have the shutters all the way around, so we're sort of encapsulated, and now I think we have them closed all the way around. I'm looking at the last two windows. Perhaps we've kept those open until we see the wind start to pick up. So, yes, we're encapsulated here, and we'll ride it out right here.
Okay, we stay here in the safety of Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be keeping in touch with you, of course, and we wish you the best of luck. We will be back with more news and information in just a moment after these breaks. Please stay with us.
We've seen some incredible changes take place in the last couple years. Changes that will affect our families, our jobs, even our whole planet. In fact, the prospects for a better world are as good today as they've ever been. Strength and resolve have kept us free during the most troubling moments of this century and can keep us free into the next. And in this uncertain world, it's important to remember the real peace dividend is peace.
I just feel safer in a European sedan.
The Cadillac Seville. It passes federal side impact tests today, which are not required of all automobiles until 1997. It provides the added control of anti-lock brakes and the reassurance of a driver's side airbag. The Cadillac Seville. Drive one soon. It could change the way you think about American automobiles.
Morning breath.
Once you're married, you get used to it.
Deep down, you know it's a problem.
I don't smell anything.
Lucky you.
Morning breath. If I had it, they'd tell me.
Ignoring morning breath won't make it go away. Scope will. Its two powerful ingredients kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Is my morning breath really a big problem?
There's no denying it's a problem. Kiss morning breath goodbye with Scope.
Monday, landmark legislation, the cornerstone of the president's environmental record, the Clean Air Act. Will it really help you breathe easier? A CNN series on air pollution begins on Prime News, 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday.
The aircraft carrier USS Independence is sailing up the Persian Gulf, and joint war games between U.S. and Kuwaiti troops are expected to begin next week near the Iraqi border. But the Independence and its 75 warplanes will also be ready to enforce a proposed no-fly zone over southern Iraq aimed at protecting Shiite Muslims. The White House says President Bush could announce the no-fly zone plan as early as Tuesday. CNN's Jamie McIntyre reports.
It's no secret the U.S., France, and Britain are planning to impose a no-fly zone over southern Iraq to keep Saddam Hussein's warplanes from attacking Shiite Muslim rebels. The new Allied showdown puts Saddam on notice that Iraqi planes flying south of the 32nd parallel will be shot down. On the campaign trail, though, administration officials said final details should be worked out in time for President Bush to personally announce the politically sensitive plan as early as Tuesday. White House spokesman Marlin Fitzwater saying the president wants to explain what he's doing. We want the American people to know the action we're taking and why. Military analysts say enforcement of a no-fly zone is low risk, but not no risk.
But there is still a great danger from their air defenses. They were able, throughout the Persian Gulf War, to mount very substantial anti-aircraft fire from machine guns and from their anti-aircraft artillery.
As the U.S. aircraft carrier Independence heads up the Persian Gulf ready to help enforce the no-fly zone, Saddam Hussein is condemning the move as a plot to divide the nation and calling on Iraqis to protect their country. While welcoming the move, Iraqi opposition groups warn it may take more than a ban on warplanes to stop the Iraqi army from terrorizing Shiite villages.
We consider this step as a first step to go ahead for a real safe haven. So we will see the reaction, but we are also sure that we need more than to save really Iraqi Shia population in the south.
Given its experience in the Gulf War, military analysts say Iraq is unlikely to send planes up to directly challenge the ban. But if the Iraqi army continues to attack the Shiites, Mr. Bush and the allies might have to decide whether to raise the stakes by ordering airstrikes against Iraqi ground forces. President Bush clearly wants to capitalize on his Gulf War record, referring in his convention acceptance speech to Saddam Hussein as a tyrant locked in the prison of his own country. But he must walk a fine line because he also pledged to keep campaign considerations out of his decisions on Iraq. Jamie McIntyre, CNN, Washington.
So to come on Prime News, we'll go back to Miami to talk with CNN's John Zarella as Floridians get ready and wait.
Nothing personal, purely business.
For this hitman, killing people was just a business until she made it personal.
isn't happening.
Now she'll do anything to stay alive.
Give me a chance to please you.
Forrest Whitaker, Sherilyn Fenn, James Belushi, and Sharon Stone. Diary of a Hitman on Viewer's Choice. A real killer of a movie. Order Diary of a Hitman on Viewer's Choice. The loss of her husband, her family. She blames it all on Claire.
I was calling about the nanny position.
Now, all she feels is rage.
You don't know what she's capable of.
And all she wants is revenge.
You're tearing this family apart.
What goes around comes around.
The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Order The Hand That Rocks the Cradle on Viewer's Choice.
This is CNN.
Our top story at this hour remains Hurricane Andrew, churning over the Atlantic Ocean. It's already blown over the Bahamas, reportedly leaving several people dead. Florida is next. The southern two-thirds of coastal Florida is under either hurricane watch or warning. And things are calm now, but forecasters predict the first hurricane force winds will hit the southeast coast within hours. Hurricane Andrew is about 185 miles east of Miami and moving rapidly westward. South Florida residents are moving rapidly to get out of the storm's way. Governor Lawton Chiles expects 1 million people to evacuate from 6 Miami area counties, and they're getting out by sea and by land, securing their property before they go. About 150 Red Cross shelters are operating in the greater Miami area, as some people are coming from the Florida Keys, where evacuation procedures are being phased out as people move slowly along the island's only highway to the mainland.
Now let's go back to Miami, where all that's left for many is the wait for Hurricane Andrew. CNN's John Zarella joins us once again with the latest. John, it's a long watch. How are you doing?
It's a long watch, all right, David, and is one of those that right now has produced just an eerie calm here. A sprinkling of cars going over the causeway here at 125th Street in North Miami. Other than that, the palm trees aren't blowing a bit. It is just this completely eerie feeling. Over my shoulder, back over here, the hotels. Along Miami Beach, some of the waves began to break and crash this afternoon. But again, we're just waiting and waiting for the worst of this to approach. And it is one of those feelings where you know that trouble is just offshore. You don't know how long it will be here. The first of the tropical storm force winds will probably reach us sometime around or after midnight. You can hear the siren there. Emergency vehicles have been back and forth over here, hopefully evacuating people. But many people are saying that if they could leave, they would. Some of them said that buses that were supposed to pick them up never showed up. I'm sure tomorrow and the days after, as we clean up from this hurricane, we will probably be hearing many stories of problems that there were during the storm. For more on the evacuations that went well, here's CNN's Charles Jaco.
There's nothing to do now but wait. These people say they've been waiting for evacuation buses on Miami Beach for hours.
We heard on the television. Get ready, go, evacuate, go. How about the people that don't have a car, that are old and sick? What can they do? You want to stay here? This was
Over 1 million people in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area have been ordered evacuated. Some are not worried.
I guess I'll do what I can do, but I can't do much about it.
But others are worried. Most of the people in this hurricane shelter have never been through a hurricane before. After all, it's been decades since a major hurricane has hit the Miami area. But then if forecasters are right, no major city in the United States has ever been through a storm with the force of Hurricane Andrew. This 200-person shelter is packed, and neither the old nor the young know quite what to expect.
But this got people shaken up.
Why?
Huh?
Why? Why this one?
They tell us it's rough. My God, with that. Who wouldn't be scared?
I live close by the beach, so. But I don't care.
What's going to happen if you go home and you don't have a home?
Oh well. I'll move. I don't care. Start over.
These people left their homes on their own, but others have refused to leave. So officials say if citizens do refuse to leave their homes, they will not be rescued. Charles Jaco, CNN, North Miami, Florida.
You know, as I stand here, I wonder. I lived and grew up just about 10 minutes from here, and Biscayne Bay is right behind me here. You often wonder what will be left of the old neighborhood if the ocean and the storm surge should literally roll across Miami Beach and into Biscayne Bay behind me. Just one of those thoughts that you have as you sit and wait for what could be the most powerful storm to ever hit a metropolitan area in the United States. This is John Zarrella reporting live from North Miami.
Thank you, John. Well, now for the latest on the path of Hurricane Andrew, we go to CNN's Ted Texter. Ted?
Andrea, we remind you, of course, that from about Orlando in the middle section of the state on further southward, this area is covered by both watches and warnings. Hurricane and tropical storm. The storm is well off the coast, still about 185 miles off the coast, and as we just saw, John Zarrella in the Miami Beach area, the front of the storm is moving on shore now. The bands of rain are beginning to move on shore. Preparations should be completed on the eastern side of the peninsula. In the west, they should be well underway. Remember, this storm is traveling just to the south of the peninsula. Its backlash could very well hit the western side. It's a very good possibility. In fact, it's almost dead certain at this point. Now let me show you the storm once again as it makes its progress further to the west. Moving again at about 16 miles an hour to the west, almost a straight, dead westerly track headed straight for the Miami area, Fort Lauderdale area, one of the heaviest population centers in the southeastern United States, in fact, in any of the United States. Preparations already underway, in fact, should be completed. It looks like now the storm will make landfall the center of the storm at about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Already the effects are being felt. In addition to that 7 to 8 o'clock time frame, we're looking at normal astronomical high tide at 5:01 in the morning, so that will further compound the problem. In Biscayne Bay, as you may know, it's the bay on Miami Beach that separates Miami Beach from Miami. The bay there will likely see anywhere from 9 to 13 feet storm surge. That's a wall of water 9 to 13 feet high. In the rest of Miami and the area, likely 7 to 11 feet. So the water indeed is really a problem here, in addition to 150 plus mile-an-hour winds. Current maximum sustained winds are at 145 miles an hour. We have been warned that they will vacillate up and down throughout the nighttime. Already we can see on the radar the eye of the storm, as a matter of fact. The storm's center, its eye, is coming across the Bahamas now. Already hurricane strength winds are extending out from the eye up to 30 miles. Tropical storm winds, that's a 70 mile an hour plus wind, is extending up to 105 miles out from the storm. So quite a distance, quite a large area is affected by this storm. And remember too, the northwestern quadrant of the storm is where we find the heaviest winds. It's counterclockwise circulation. The forward motion has to be added in. 16 miles an hour of additional speed, wind speed. And it's a snowballing effect, as we've been talking about. So the additional destructive force is indeed very, very great. Now David French in Washington, D.C. with more news.
All right, Ted, and ahead on Prime News, we'll have some of the other news of the day, including sports, of course. From Camden Yards in Baltimore, the Orioles and the Oakland A's hook up in a game important to the pennant races.
In our universe, there was always the unknown, the unpredictable. All we can do is prepare for it.
AT&T is now installing Fast Start. It can detect a cable cut instantly, so 800 calls can get back in minutes instead of hours.
We can send flowers for any occasion, anywhere, but only if our 800 service is up and running. Our 800 service isn't just a phone line, it's a lifeline.
I miss you.
AT&T has the most reliable 800 service, period.
AT&T. Call us.
Look at these red marks. These old glasses do nothing but pinch. They're a pain.
You don't have to put up with glasses that don't fit anymore.
Now LensCrafters brings you better fit for greater comfort. LensCrafters glasses fit your snug points with features like new self-adjusting snug fit pads that flex to gently and securely hug your nose.
No more pinching. I never knew glasses could be this comfortable.
LensCrafters. Better fit for greater comfort. In about an hour.
At GMC Truck, our only business is trucks, and has been for over 80 years. A dedication to truck strengths and values to keep in mind. Because when you need to haul something, tow something, carry precious cargo, find new trails, or simply ride high and proud, there's nothing quite as strong as a truck. GMC Truck, the strength of experience.
He's in Manhattan on Wednesday, Frankfurt on Thursday,
Paris, Rome, and Vienna after that. He believes it's better to do business across a table than over a fax machine. This year, he'll fly more than 100,000 miles with us. Because he knows nobody understands him better than we do. At Delta, when we say we love to fly and it shows, this is where it shows.
We return to talk sports with Tom Kirkland.
That's right.
A's and O's, huh?
Alphabet soup in Baltimore. Funny little theme there. The Oakland A's are now firmly entrenched atop the AL West and following a familiar script. Manager Tony La Russa's lineup juggling and Dennis Eckersley's relieving. The Skippers had to cover 15 different players on the disabled list, the latest being baseball's home run leader Mark McGwire. And of course, the Eck is baseball's ultimate pack rat. He saves everything. The A's are now 52-0 when he pitches, and they've won 10 of 11 from the Orioles in Baltimore after this one. Harold Baines, he takes a rip at Ben McDonald's pitch, and when it ends up, when it stops, it's a souvenir, 1-0 A's. Move to the bottom of the third inning. Mark McLemore will make Ricky Henderson get on his horse. Ricky, with an exceptional defensive effort, goes flat out to make the catch. Jose Canseco's had a big road trip, driven in 12 runs, had 4 RBI today. The 2-run single down the line makes a 3-1 game, a 5-1 game in favor of the A's, and Dennis Eckersley becomes baseball's first relief pitcher to get 40 or more saves in 4 seasons as the Oakland A's take care of the Orioles. In Boston, a massacre at Fenway Park. Roger Clemens is rocked by the Mariners. This is Mike Blowers going high off the wall, and Brett Boone is on the go. The third generation of baseball Boones. That's the first time 3 have played in the major leagues, and he is in easily. The throw a little bit too late and not exactly on line. We're tied at 3. Top of the 5th, still tied at 3. Clemens facing Kevin Mitchell, and this is not off the wall. This is over the wall. The 2-run home run gave Seattle a 5-3 lead on the way to a 9-3 blowout. Top of the 6th, Brett Boone faces a frustrated Roger Clemens and a little bit of up and chin. Whoa! That is quite an education. Hello, kid. Welcome to the big leagues from Roger Clemens. Status quo in the National League East. The Pirates and Expos both lose. The Buccos stay 3-up. In San Fran, the Giants beat Pittsburgh. Corey Snyder takes Randy Tomlin's pitch for a windy ride the other way. That's a home run, 1-0 in favor of the Giants. Now, Tomlin, this is a Major League wild pitch. It's so wild we can't even find it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. The catcher doesn't even put his mitt out. He just takes to the spikes to try to track it down. And then Bud Black, a great double play. 1, 6, 3 back to first. Bud Black with a big win for the Giants. And check out this reaction. You better be quick if you're on the mound. Whoa! He saves his rib cage and the line drive, part of the Giants' 5-2 win. 2 weeks from today, the NFL kicks off for real. This afternoon, the Atlanta Falcons took the ribbons off their new home, the Georgia Dome. 66,834, the largest Falcon crowd ever. Yesterday, Falcon quarterback Chris Miller told a local paper he'd love to go deep on the first play. Knock yourself out, Chris. This is Atlanta's first play from scrimmage. It results in a 76-yard touchdown pass. Miller to Michael Haynes. 20-10 is how that one ended. And now here are all of Sunday's scores for your consumption. Sports up to the moment. I'll be back along with Paul Crane for Sports Tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll wrap up all of today's action for you. A jam-packed half hour it'll be. We'll see you then. The news continues now with David in Washington.
Thanks. And there are 10.5 weeks left until the November election, and the latest CNN USA Today Gallup poll shows the race may get closer. President Bush got his expected post-convention bounce in the polls, pushing him up 5 percentage points. 42% of the voters polled say they would vote for him. That's compared to 52% for Bill Clinton. Heading into the convention, Bush had been behind by 19 percentage points. And the president's approval rating also bounced. 40% of the voters polled say they approve of the job he is doing, and that's up 5 points. When asked whether President Bush will raise taxes, 61% say they think he will. 31% say they believe he will not.
Both President Bush and Democratic challenger Bill Clinton were on the road today, each pitching their party platform as the one best suited to pull the U.S. out of a recession. President Bush rode his post-convention bounce into the Illinois State Fair. Bush told farmers that pairing Clinton with a Democratic Congress would be a nightmare for the country. Clinton rode his campaign bus to New York after attending church in Pennsylvania, and Clinton accused the Republicans of talking big about family values, but taking little action to actually help families. And Dan Quayle aboarded his own bus for a tour through Central Florida, seeking to make sure Reagan Democrats stay in the GOP fold. The vice president insisted he was not copying the Democratic caravan, since he's using the same bus the Bush campaign used in 1988.
A major change is quietly taking place at the White House today. Secretary of State James Baker is taking over as Chief of Staff. His mission to try to boost the economy and, of course, boost the re-election effort of his friend George Bush. Lawrence Eagleburger is taking over as Acting Secretary of State. He begins his new job tomorrow, flying to London to take part in an international conference on Yugoslavia.
Well, after being delayed by a travel dispute, the Palestinian delegation to the 6th round of Middle East peace talks is now en route to Washington. The talks are scheduled to begin tomorrow, but the Palestinians' late start could force a delay in their portion of the discussions. The Israeli delegation arrived outside Washington today as their government offered concessions designed to improve conditions for Palestinians in the occupied territories. The Palestinian delegation says the proposals are welcomed, but don't go far enough. The Syrian, Lebanese, and Jordanian delegates also arrived today.
Coming up on Prime News, many people with AIDS have only one hope, the drug AZT. For people without money, the supply of AZT is running out, and we'll get a report.
That Michael? Yeah. Starts college next year. How's mine? Well, Mike told me the price of his first choice. I know what you mean. I got this broker at Payne Weber. She put me in a zero coupon. To cover college? Mm-hmm. Huh. Well, when did she do that? It's got to be 10, 11 years. 10 years ago? How did she know that's what you needed? She asked.
When you travel a lot, one hotel begins to look like another, and it's hard to find a hotel you can always count on. Unless you choose Hampton Inn, the one hotel with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, where if you're not completely satisfied, your night stay is free.
Hi, Mr. Andrews. How was your trip?
At Hampton Inn, you relax in a clean, comfortable new room, so you'll always get a good night's rest and wake refreshed, guaranteed. Our delicious continental breakfast is always on the house. Local calls are free, and kids stay free too. What's more, you'll find very competitive rates and consistent quality at over 300 Hampton Inns. Call today for this free directory or make reservations now at the one hotel you can always rely on.
See you next trip.
Bye, Mr. Andrews.
Call 1-800-HAMPTON now.
Politicians use stars for raising money and building crowds. What do stars get from politicians? A powerful audience for their causes. CNN's special assignment team takes an inside look at Hollywood and politics. Tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
More than 1 million people in Florida are leaving their homes, fleeing Hurricane Andrew, which is on a direct course with that state. Residents in Broward, Dade, and Monroe counties have been ordered to evacuate. Andrew is expected to pack winds topping 155 miles an hour when it hits Miami Beach around dawn. And forecasters say it will then strike the city of Miami and then Dade County, Florida's most populous area. The storm already has lashed the Bahamas and will have extensive coverage of Hurricane Andrew throughout the night.
In news from medicine, people with AIDS who can't afford the drug AZT have been receiving it anyway, thanks to a federally funded indigent AZT program. In tonight's News from Medicine, CNN's Brian Cabell reports the money is running out, and so is the hope.
Larry Mann of Riverdale, Georgia, who's suffering from AIDS-related complex, has been taking AZT for 18 months, but that may come to an end.
I guess I just will be without it. I just have to hope after that.
That's because the supply of the drug for indigent AIDS patients in Georgia is running out. Special federal money for it will be depleted halfway through the fiscal year.
Well, I'm getting a lot of calls from frightened people.
Dr. Wilbur, who's the state AIDS director in Georgia, has no answers for them. More than 1,000 AIDS patients in the state, he says, will have their AZT supplies cut off or never started up. It's a nationwide problem caused by underfunding for a runaway epidemic. Authorities report that 21 of the 50 states will have to terminate their federally funded indigent AZT programs because of lack of funding. Certain big city hospitals will still carry a supply of the drug, but officials fear that will bring even more rural residents to the cities applying for the drug and depleting the city's supplies.
And the only hope I see for this is for Congress to appropriate emergency money for the states to provide drugs to indigent people that need them to maintain life.
But Congress and the administration have so far balked at increasing the AZT funding.
And we're going to have to deal with the AIDS crisis, whether we deal with it today at reasonable cost with early interventions and appropriate treatment early on, or we're going to have to deal with it later. And then it's going to cost more.
The cost in patients like Larry Mann will be more than monetary.
Symptoms will occur earlier, they'll be more severe, the onset of AIDS will occur sooner, and they'll die sooner.
A grim prospect for Mann and his friends, who likewise have AIDS. None of them can afford the monthly $250 cost of AZT. They need government help or else. Ironically, there is another outlet for free AZT here in Georgia. That's the state prison system. If you're a prisoner and you need AZT, you are guaranteed to get it. Brian Cabell, CNN, Atlanta.
News from Medicine is brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb Company, makers of Bufferin. For strong aspirin pain relief, discover the strength of Bufferin.
Boy, this couch weighs a ton. Where does it go, Miss Lansbury?
Oh, right there, please. Wow. If I lifted that, I'd need Bufferin for the aches and pains afterwards.
You really believe in Bufferin?
I certainly do.
It's strong, huh?
Extra strength Bufferin has the strongest dosage of aspirin that you can buy. And I've discovered that the buffers don't weaken it. They just help prevent aspirin stomach upset.
Shouldn't you discover the strength of Bufferin? And for nighttime aches, pains, and sleeplessness, try Bufferin AF Nighttime. It's aspirin-free.
From now until November, CNN reviews the week in politics. A look at the events and the issues shaping the news, plus analysis and perspective from the experts. Campaign USA 92, tonight 9:30 Eastern on CNN.
GMC Truck has been planning your getaway for over 80 years and has put all its experience into a new vehicle with the luxury of a leather-trimmed interior, the safety of anti-lock brakes, the comfort of a soft ride suspension package, and most important, all the strength you'd expect from a truck company to let you make the leap away from it all. The new SLT Jimmy from GMC Truck. More proof of the strength of experience.
Of all the things around your house that need batteries, there's one thing that needs a good, fresh battery most of all. See your Allstate agent for a free home fire safety brochure. And please, check the battery in your smoke detector often.
It's been almost 30 years since a hurricane made a direct hit on Florida's east coast. Hurricane Betsy hit the Florida Keys in 1965, but Betsy was only a Category 3. Andrew is much stronger, a Category 5. CNN's John Zarella has been giving us live reports and will again in a minute, but now he takes a look at Florida's hurricane history on tape.
Residents along Florida's east coast last braced for a direct hit in 1979. Hurricane David was approaching Miami.
If you live on Miami Beach and need to evacuate, all you need to do is proceed to one of these 11 pickup points.
But unexpectedly, the storm suddenly turned north. It skirted the coastline, tearing up Fort Lauderdale Beach and bouncing along the coast to West Palm and Fort Pierce, finally going inland at Charleston, South Carolina.
Betsy struck at the worst possible time, high tide at night.
The last major hurricane in the area was more than a quarter century ago. Betsy in 1965, which moved across the upper Florida Keys and South Miami. It then moved into the Gulf of Mexico and up into Louisiana, killing 75 people.
This is Ralph Fennick in Miami. Hurricane Donna has moved through Miami and is currently going into the Everglades area in southwestern Florida.
Donna in 1960 also blew across the Keys and Fort Myers, killing 50 people before heading back out to sea off Virginia. But it was the 1935 storm that has gone down in the history books. It swept across the Florida Keys with 200-mile-per-hour winds. 400 people died.
But it's really the August, September, October storms that are the more frequent events affecting the continental United States.
One of the greatest concerns for hurricane forecasters and emergency management personnel is how to evacuate hundreds of thousands of people on short notice. In South Florida, it's nearly impossible.
There's no way we're going to get everybody out of the Florida Keys. There's no way we're going to get everybody out of the southwest Florida area that are growing so rapidly.
And since the 1960s, forecasters have been warning that it was only a matter of time. John Zarella, CNN, Miami.
We now go to John Zarella, who is in Miami, standing by with the latest. John?
Andrea, a very interesting point. I was talking to Bob Sheets about a week ago, and he told me that, interestingly enough, when we have a May where there's very little rain in Miami, historically we have a hurricane on the East Coast. We had about a quarter of an inch of rain in May, a record low, and here we have one of the most powerful hurricanes this century off the coast of Miami. Along Miami Beach, the waves are beginning to build, although it is a slow, methodical process. Here right now, as you just saw, there's hardly a bit of rain, and there's no wind, there's nothing blowing at all. So it's kind of hard to believe that one of these most powerful hurricanes this century is actually just a couple hundred miles away from us. Many people did get to shelters today, probably several 100,000 of them. The shelters are packed. People were told if you couldn't board up your homes, get out, go to a shelter, go to your friends' homes, or just plain head north and get out of South Florida. About 1 million people did take that advice, we believe. The National Guard is on standby in Orlando with 3 battalions to move into this area once the storm passes. Now we are just waiting and watching and just hoping that for some reason or other, this particular storm will not be as bad as everyone fears. This is John Zarella reporting live from North Miami.
Thank you, John. Good luck and be careful. Well, that's it for this edition of Prime News. I'm Andrea Arsenault at the CNN Center in Atlanta. We will continue to bring you the latest on Hurricane Andrew throughout the night and tomorrow.
In Washington, I'm David French. Coming up next, a CNN special assignment report, Hollywood Politics. A look at the relationship between the big players in the nation's capital and the capital of the stars.
Grandad, Grand Prix, Bonneville. This is the closeout you've been waiting for, the 92 Pontiac closeout. Final shipments of Pontiac's hottest sellers are rolling in. Now, with 3.9% 48-month financing, you could save almost $3,000 in finance charges alone. Limited time offers, so hurry for best selection. See the Pontiac people of Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky now.
Come on down to the river, the party's begun. The Bell Carol, we're cruising for fun.
Daytime, nighttime, anytime is fun time aboard the Bell Carol Riverboat Company fleet. Our exciting schedule includes brunch or dinner cruises, sightseeing and adventure destination cruises, plus late-night party cruises. Our fleet is also available for private charters. Call 244-3430 for schedules and reservations.
The Bell Carol, we're cruising for fun.
Buy jewelry for less at Factory Jewelers. A huge inventory of diamonds, all qualities and sizes at fantastic prices. From the stunning marquise to the traditional round. Tennessee pearls, cultured pearls, and wholesale prices. Custom design your own pearl strand from the South's largest inventory. 14 and 10 karat gold, the largest selection in Tennessee at the lowest prices. Be sure to visit our in-store gem and mineral museum. Everyone saves at Factory Jewelers. 4805 Old Hickory Boulevard, Hermitage.
At Furniture World, we save you money. Yes, and the best just got better. Yes, folks, showroom liquidation is almost over. The warehouses are full of new merchandise, and over 1,000 closeout and discontinued items must be sold. And sold now. Yes, Dan, 300 sofas, loves, and chairs to be closed out with values like the 7-piece living room group for only $7.99. And that's 48 cents on the dollar. Your good credit approved in just 24 minutes and delivery the same day you buy it. Right, Dan. And Jameson Better Bedding, $99 each piece, any size. Another way the best just got better. Folks, don't miss it. The gigantic showroom liquidation is nearing its end at Furniture World, where we save you money.
This is CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Hello, I'm Ted Texter in Atlanta. Our special assignment, Hollywood and Politics, will be with you in just a moment. First, we wanted to update you on the progress of Hurricane Andrew in the Atlantic. The storm is moving to the west, just headed now for the southeastern coast of Florida. About the southern two-thirds of Florida are included in hurricane or tropical storm warnings or watches. About the southern third of the state under hurricane warnings, including Lake Okeechobee. The storm now, we take a look at it, is headed our way.